Today I'm going to give you a speech about dynamic pricing. In daily life, we can easily notice that goods prices are flexible at different times. For example, during the tourist season, the price of air tickets and hotels will be much more expensive than usual. This kind of marketing strategy with constantly changing prices, we can call this as dynamic price. The definition of the dynamic price is adjust the price frequently in response to real-time and demand and supply, then to achieve the profit maximum. There are four main dynamic pricing strategies of online retailers. The first one is segmented pricing. The use of the segmented pricing can attract a larger market. Retailers classify the price from value to premium to occupy the market as much as possible. A specific example for this strategy is airline pricing. The dynamic pricing of airlines does not increase the price by the high demand. Airline companies use the software and or professional app to capture the data, and then they calculate the real-time market change, consumer preference, and the price elasticity. The consumer's preference and the price elasticity will affect the consumer's demand. Then the app will change the different price by their different demand for different consumers. For example, the company will recommend the higher price ticket to the consumer who has a higher price elasticity instead of showing them the lower price ticket. Another example is if the consumer searches a ticket for a while but he doesn't pay for it, then the app will recommend a lower price ticket for him in order to make a deal with him. Hence, the airline companies can use the third price discrimination to charge different prices for different consumers. Due to the application of apps, personalized dynamic pricing has a good accuracy and manageability advantage. The second one is peak pricing. Retailers use demand fluctuation to increase prices then demand in high or competitors have insufficient inventory. Uber is a good example for this strategy. Uber's dynamic pricing is transparent and visible to consumers because Uber's supply and demand is constantly changing depending on the real-time demand and supply. In terms of demand, the demand for Uber increases at a specific time. As a result, dynamic pricing is most common during rush hours on Friday and Saturday nights. In this case, Uber raises the tax price and the consumers who can accept high prices choose to call car, which reflects the first level price discrimination in the application of the Uber. As for supply, the company gives more money to drivers who will stay in the system longer in order to cater mass demand during the rush hours. By offering drivers more money, they could increase the number of drivers on their roads by 7 to 80%. And more importantly, they could eliminate 2/3 of the unmet demands. The supply curve was highly elastic. Drivers were indeed motivated by price. In a sense, the model of rising prices has two functions. One is increased supply. The second effect is a temporary deliberate reduction in demand. Through these two mechanisms, the company is able to increase supply to ensure reliability, which is the company's main purpose, and to maximize the number of transactions completed. The third one is time-based pricing. Retailers can adjust prices based on the time of day or how long the product is on the market. The simplest example is the price of the hotel in the tourist season. During the tourist season, the demand of hotels goes up, but there is only limited space in hotels, so the price goes up. The last one is penetration pricing. Penetration pricing allows retailers to set prices lower than the final markets to persuade consumers to try their products. The most successful example for this strategy is Netflix. In the late 1990s and 2000s, DVD rentals were becoming mainstream. Blockbuster was an American-based provider of home movie and video game rental service. Although it dominated the home entertainment market, it still had problems on limited selection. In 2000, Netflix users could rent 4 movies at a time with no return by dates for the $15.95 subscription plan. Blockbusters charged about $5 for a single 3-day rental. Compared with the Blockbuster, Netflix users pay less and get more options. Penetration pricing allowed Netflix to build its subscriber base and raise profitability in 2003, 5 years after opening. The low initial price point let consumers test their new service and make the switch. From the examples above, we know what we can benefit from dynamic pricing. Does dynamic pricing have disadvantage? The answer is yes. The first one is consumers does not like the goals of dynamic pricing strategies. It can be used to save money, but it is often used to increase the profit margin of the company. This makes consumers feel like what they need is being overcharged. The second one is many consumers will research the products or service before buying. They may know the suggested retail price of certain goods before they make the purchase. If the price of the product is higher than their expectation, they will go elsewhere to buy or leave the company or website directly and may never come back. The last one is also customers are loyal because of the value of a certain brand. Dynamic pricing can change it. This means that brands pay more attention to profit than to provide customers with something. At this time, the competition in the industry will intensify because more brands believe that they can create a disruptive impact. That's all. Thank you.